So here we are underneath the 2012 Legacy, and you can see this exhaust has been rigged a bit. It doesn't really work or hold. Because of the way this has been rigged, I'm going to have to replace both the mid pipe, what my finger is touching all the way up to in front of that box there, and the muffler. A really cheap solution would be to weld a coupler here. You could probably have that done pretty cheaply, probably under $100. Most places would do that for you. But the owner decided to just replace it all. So that's what we're going to be doing today. The good news is this will also be a how-to guide on installing a catback system. Oh wow, that is... Yeah, there's like no exhaust there. There's nothing actually holding these two together. Okay, anyways, let's get started. So, what I'm going to be replacing is the entire catback system. So it's going to be the muffler, the resonator, and the mid pipe. This is all Walker stainless steel. While I'm in there, I'm going to be replacing the gasket, the donut, and this clamp is for the two-piece resonator design. I'll show you what that looks like. Those two bolts you're seeing in the front of the screen are the flex bolts. There's a small spring on them. I like to spray these with penetrating fluid, any sort of PB blaster, Croyle, WD-40. Take your pick, really. It's all the same. And apply liberally. Really, don't be greedy with this stuff. It's too cheap not to. While you're down here, let's go ahead and spray the exhaust hangers. It's actually kind of hard to do while on camera. But this will help a lot getting the exhaust hangers out of the bushings. To get the exhaust off, they make special tools, but I like to use just a plain old set of channel locks. I'll show you how it works. So what I do is I set it to where when I do this, it'll push it out like that. Needs a little bit more. I'll have to pinch it again. But that should give you a good idea on how to get one of these hangers off pretty easily with just some vice grips or channel locks. Oh, I always get it back. Just some channel locks and some PB blaster, and it's good to go. So to remove the exhaust, there's two hangers on the muffler. There's one right up here. There's one back up here. There's one hanger on the mid pipe. You're looking at it right there. We're going to go ahead and remove those. If you have this flange still in piece, you'll want to separate that out. But for me, that's not going to be necessary. So this flange, again, this is why we're replacing all this. This flange is bad. And I think this is probably the better course of action long term. Obviously, replacing this all is going to be more expensive, but it should last a lot longer than a repair and, you know, buy once, cry once. Once you get the two hangers off, the muffler will come down. It'll be a good idea to support it. If you're doing this on the ground, your body's going to hold it pretty well. It's not too heavy. There's a barky dog, though. So, we now have a cameraman, and we have moved towards the front. There is this hinged spring bolt right here. The nut on this side is 12 millimeter, and the bolt is 14 millimeter. And then we just remove it. It'd help if I set it to the right setting. With the two bolts off, I would honestly just plan on replacing those bolts. They really felt like they were going to snap. We'll go ahead, gently drop this down. We'll take off this donut, which probably has to be encouraged a little. And that's the old donut. Plan on replacing this too if you're changing all this stuff. This is the catalytic converter here, or at least the pipe to the catalytic converter, and this flange still looks good, so that's good. At this point, if you have an aftermarket exhaust, it may vary a little bit. I'm putting on a Walker stainless steel exhaust, but everything should be more or less the same. And then we're going to take off this last exhaust hanger. So set up your pipe so that it looks roughly like this. This connection right here actually ships as 2 pieces, and thus the clamp. So just go ahead and slide it together and put the clamp on. Make sure the nuts on the clamp are facing down. I'm going to flip it upside down to show you. Make sure they're facing down so when you install them, you have easy access to them. You still have a little bit of adjustment, and then once it's on the car, you can do a final tightening. Something that helps on the new hangers, go ahead and put any sort of lubricant on here. This is what I have lying around. That will tremendously help when you go to hang it on the new hangers. Okay, we're going to reinstall the exhaust donut. Sometimes these need a little encouragement. That one seemed to be happy to go on. No complaints from me. We're going to go ahead, line up the exhaust. To make this a little bit easier, I've gone ahead and I've clamped a couple of vice grips there, and that makes it so that the spring isn't really under tension just yet. In fact, this bolt is completely loose. So we'll go ahead and put both bolts in, tighten it down. Again, this end is 14 mil, this end is 12 mil. I do recommend replacing these bolts because I feel like these are probably going to break. With those bolts now tightened, we'll go ahead and we're going to move down the pipe and tighten this clamp. This is what I was talking about when I said make sure the bolts face down. We'll go ahead and tighten it down, and now that it's in the hanger, and then we'll connect the muffler. So there's just 2 hangers. Again, a little bit of lube on these hangers will help slide into the bushings easier. So I tightened these down with an 18 mil wrench. However, it could be anything for you, because again, these were just some salvage bolts I found lying around. But with that on, you're done. Go ahead and start the car up and listen for some leaks. And there you go. We now have a nice quiet exhaust. Hope this video helped somebody. Thanks for watching.